We just learned about the basic fundamentals of flash, of how it creates shadows, about soft light, hard light, how to recognize it, how to create a believable lighting situation, and even down to controlling your flash and how to do that. There was some technical things in there and there were some big concepts, but now you're going to be able to take those fundamentals and use these in these 7 amazing flash techniques that I want to show you. And when you use these techniques in any situation, you're going to be able to get a great shot no matter where you are. The first technique is using backlight. Backlight to me creates emotion. It has a certain kind of romance to it, or just a feeling of light and airy, and it always separates the subject from the background. So there's a dual purpose to it. And I just love using backlight. It creates kind of this sophisticated lighting situation that's part of my signature style, and I want to show you how to do it. This first technique, I want something where you don't even have to think about. You just do it and it works. And so basically, you are going to shoot as if you were in a natural light situation. And so you just meter and you just set your exposure and you line it up just like you would be shooting in natural light. So you use the flash behind your subject, firing and creating a glow around your subject. And that light sometimes comes right back into your lens to create this nice lit feel, almost like the sun is coming down and shining right down on your subject. And all you got to do is expose for your subject as you normally would in a natural light situation and add flash. Now you might ask, well, how much flash should I use? Guess what? It's just up to you. You could use a little bit, you could use a lot, and I suggest that you just try different things. Put it on 16th power. If you don't know what power to set your flash, a general rule is 1/16th power is a good place to start. And so maybe you can start there, right? And then after you're doing this, you'll kind of know how much power you'll need. So let me show you some examples here. Here we are in Jamaica and we're gonna do this bridal shoot. And I remember we were so psyched for this shoot. It was like the last day of our workshop. We go, oh, we're gonna go out and do this amazing sunset shoot on the beach. We got ready, the models got ready, and we went out there and we looked around and we go, oh my gosh, the sun is setting on the other side of the island. So much for our beautiful sunset type shots. But I go, you know what? I had this vision of doing a sunset shot. By gosh, we're gonna do it. So look at this shot. And you can see the backlight coming behind the subject. What did I do? I exposed as if I was shooting in natural light. And so I got that exposure how I wanted it. And I just added flash behind the subject to taste. And so I fired it. If it didn't look strong enough, I just told them to add more. If it looked too strong, I just knocked it down. And this technique works best when you're at a lower f-stop. I would say 5.6 or lower. I prefer to shoot like maybe, 1.8 or something like that. Because why? When you have a large aperture and that light is coming back through that lens, you get like a softer glow to it. If you have a high aperture and you have light coming back into your camera, you're going to get these little sharp lines that come out of the light source, and it's kind of like a spiky light source. But I kind of like that soft feeling, and so the lower f-stop creates that. So let's take a look at the next picture and you can see the setup with this. I just simply have a friend holding a light behind my subject to give me that backlight. So that sun was not even there, but it gives the feeling of backlight when I wanted it. So I can create my own vision at this point. Here's another situation where I'm shooting this lovely model in this trailer. As you can see, I am in a flat light situation. And remember, flat light means there's an absence of highlight and shadows. So if you can see this scene here, you hardly see any shadows, you hardly see any highlights, and the photo will be nice, but there's not that pop to it that backlight can give to it. So what did we do? In the back of the trailer, there were some windows there. So I set my flashes up behind the trailer to pretend that sun was coming through the trailer behind her, and it's just going to give her a nice little glow. So you can see the setup there, and I was teaching a class, and then once I explained what I did, everybody wanted to put their flashes there and do the same shot. And so you can see so you see a lot of flashes there. There's only one firing on my shot. It's just the one. And I'm putting it right through the window in the back. And you can see how awesome that looks. And you can't even tell if that's the real sun or if that's fake. And that's how you know you're doing a great job at lighting, is if people can't tell. Like, is that natural light? Is that flash? Is that the real sun back there? Or did you add it? And once you start getting those questions about your imagery, you know that you're on track with your lighting and you're doing a great job with it. So I love the mood that this is using. I am using a lower f-stop here. I think I'm at least 2.8. I'm using an 85 millimeter lens, I know, so I'm probably at 1.8 or around there. Because now when I'm at 1.8 or low like that, or even 2.8, when that light is coming back through my lens, you can kind of see that softer glow behind them and not as sharp lines that a high f-stop will do. And so that's what I'm trying to create here. So you need to know your technical when you want to create and you have a vision in mind. You know the technical that creates your vision. So that's very important to know that. Here's another backlight situation where the bride had this idea of kind of spreading her veil around the little flower girl. And I just loved how they were interacting and how she was, I think this was her aunt, and how, she was so pretty and admiring the bride. And it was a very flat situation. As you can see, I was in with a bunch of trees and she was in complete shade. And I go, nope, we need to create some kind of feeling and emotion. And I positioned my flash behind her and I just fired that flash. Now, so what guided me to know how much light to use? Well, I just went off of the face of the little girl. So I kept on upping that light behind them because I wanted that little girl's face. That was the story to me. I could care less that the veil was a little bit blown out. Yeah, if you want to get technical about it. But to me, the story was that little girl looking up to her aunt and that little conversation that they had together. And so that's how I determined how much backlight to use.